explain to us the difference in practical terms between having a coach who did believe in you the way that he did and the difference between that and what was happening with Flores?
Yeah. Well, to put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad. And you hear it more and more. You start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear, or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening. And it was, I mean, it's basically been, 2 years of training that out of not just me, but, a couple of the guys as well that have been here since my rookie year all the way till now.
We all had the same reaction to that, was to notice how awkward and uncomfortable Chris Cody was in his short shorts on the middle of that couch sitting next to Tua.
Who picked the Okay, so listen. I love this from Tua. Tua is one of the nicest people out there. He really is. He's just so real and so human. He's someone who you want to see succeed. And I love this honest answer. I really do. You could have answered this question in a few different ways if you're Tua, right? You could say, listen, Brian Flores is a great coach. I wish him nothing but, all the luck and success in the world. It wasn't working between me and him, unfortunately. And now I'm just, really grateful and so happy that I got my coach now. Me and him just really click, and we got a relationship that is just a lot deeper. And again, it's nothing against Brian Flores. He's a great coach. He's obviously more defensively oriented. And so it's just been really great to be able to have like an offensive head coach, someone who I can really connect with, someone who I feel, understands more deeply what I'm going through. And it's really been able to help me develop as a quarterback, right? You could say that. And there's nothing wrong with that answer. It's not even incorrect. You're not even lying. But then there's the other way to go about it, right? And it's pretty much saying the way how Brian Flores handled it was just not right. He wasn't a good coach towards me. I'm not going to just say he was a good coach just because it's like maybe like the nicer thing to do. You asked me a question, I'm going to be honest about it. And I'm not going to rip him. Like, he didn't rip him. He didn't say he's a monster, he's awful, he doesn't deserve to coach, because he could have said that too, technically. But he's just like, look, this is how Brian Flores treated me. This is how he made me feel. And this is how the other guy makes me feel. And it's a lot better. And you can clearly see I'm a lot more successful. So, I mean, I really like this. I love this. And I don't think that this is being talked about enough either. There's a lot of these stories that I'm recording right now that I just feel like are just under talked about, under discussed. I think Tua is such a unique person because it seems like people are very divided on Tua. They either think that he's hanging on by a thread in the NFL, or they think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, right? Top 3, top 4, top 5 quarterback. I don't think he's hanging on by a thread. I do think he needs to have some playoff success, right? He needs to get there. I think the team is there. I think the coaching is there. He needs to get there. I think there's been some bad luck with some injuries, either himself or on the defense, especially last year. But it is now, he got paid. He's now had a couple years without Brian Flores. And so we can, we can leave that in the past. And now it's like, what do we have today? And the Miami Dolphins are thirsty for it. They've been dying to have an actual young quarterback who can get the job done. And I do believe that Tua can get it done. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and try to predict what the Dolphins will or won't be. But I do think I do think that the Dolphins are at the very least in a situation to be legitimately, genuinely competitive for the next 3 seasons, right? For what is his contract, right? 4 years right now. Like, realistically, especially considering what's going on with Tyreek Hill, Waddle, all these other players, like, you got the next 2-3 years to like actually really be not only competitive, but then also potential to win a Super Bowl. I'm not saying that I have them, I'll be honest, Miami Dolphins fans. I'm not saying that they're my top 3 team to win a Super Bowl here. But what I am trying to emphasize is that when they get that momentum going, they are a scary team. Last year, they proved not to, unfortunately, the injuries were devastating. But they would be a scary team. They're not a team that you want to face. It's just not. If that defense was healthy, I do believe that they have a great chance at beating the Kansas City Chiefs. And if they actually played with a healthy defense and not in freezing cold, I think they also have a great chance at winning. Those were such extreme conditions. Brutal weather and just a decimated defense. And yet they still hung in there against the Kansas City Chiefs. And obviously the Chiefs went on to win a Super Bowl. So that does tell you something. So can this team find a way to be more resilient, especially down the road, down the line, in the season, and in the playoffs? That's what they need to work on. We already know that when things are going well for them, my God, it's insane. They're literally historic. But they now need to prove to be more resilient. They need to prove that they can take multiple punches throughout a game and come back. They need to do what the 49ers did, having a terrible first half and being able to come back and win in the second half. They need to prove to be like what the Kansas City Chiefs are able to do, get punched around, or just not play, again, a perfect first, second, third quarter, but still come time fourth quarter, they get the job done. They go to overtime, their defense stands up, forces a field goal, and they go out and get a touchdown, right? They prove that resilience, that confidence. That is the next step that not only the Miami Dolphins need to do, but Tua Tagovailoa, without a doubt, needs to show this is the type of quarterback that I can be. That doesn't mean that he goes beyond the system. Doesn't mean he goes beyond the game plan or tries to play outside of himself, because I think the system that they have in place is set for success. It just needs to be more resilient. I'm just going to keep saying that. That, to me, has been the problem for the Dolphins, is resiliency. And I'm curious to see how they're going to approach that. Because you just can't expect to go into the playoffs thinking that you're going to be able to run the score up on teams. You need to be able to be physical. You need to be able to come from behind. You need to be able to do things that you maybe necessarily didn't have to do throughout the regular season. And you still have to be ready and prepared to do that when the time comes. So I'm excited to see. I really, really am. They're definitely a team that I'm, on the lookout for, and I'm excited to see what Tua does now that he has the confidence of this contract, right? I'm not going to say that he was playing scared. I don't think that, but it is different when you finally lock down that contract, because I think when you're a quarterback like Tua, you are thinking, I haven't gotten paid yet, and you're not necessarily, I'm saying that you're afraid of the injury, but it's just like, I don't know, you don't have that contract yet. You feel every incompletion. I think you're just going to feel every incompletion, every interception, every fumble, every sack, every loss, just a little bit harder. It's just going to weigh on you a little bit because you just don't have that sense of security. That's really what it comes down to. When you go to sleep at night, you don't have that security just yet. He now has that security, and I think that will not only make him comfortable come time in game and even practices, on a smaller level, of course, since it's just practice, but I think also, more importantly, at night, when he is just with his friends and family, when he is just decompressing, when he is just eating dinner, when he is just hanging out in the locker room, when he is in the weight room, I think those types of moments get overlooked all too often. And truthfully, just like anything in our lives, it's all about also balancing the hard work as well as the stress reduction, as the recovery aspect. And I think when you have that contract like Tua, especially as he's not shown to be some guy that as soon as he gets the money, he's just going to be a diva and over the top and crazy, right? I don't think you have to worry about that with him. So to me, him finally getting that security will only help him. It will give him the confidence, the relaxation. Who knows? If he didn't get paid, maybe he doesn't even talk like this right here. And I love this from him. So I'm excited to see what Tua becomes this season, and what the Dolphins can get up to. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Tua and this comment about Brian Flores and the differences between coaching and, where the Dolphins can go from here. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.